inspiring Uganda.
The celebrations and happiness all over the place. Well, stay tuned. There is so much coming your way. We have interacted with students from different faculties, including engineering, medicine, education, but now is natural resources and environment science. Well, Busitama is all about the sciences. Welcome to the show.
Now, students are very funny beings.
Yes.
You know, when it comes to such activities, sometimes it blows off their minds and they forget that they're supposed to read books and concentrate in books. Like, for example, on the eve of such events, they're excited. They don't even want to touch a book because they're thinking, oh,
in your presentation, you talked about something about countries getting involved in space science and having their own space science programs. Why do you think they all need space science programs?
So there has been an outbreak of Ebola, and that means we have to be conscious about the people we engage with, what we do, and some of the signs and symptoms. And that brings us to the next section, which is the disease prevention. And these nurses are going to talk to us more about Ebola. Well, my name is Amuge Victoria. That is all we had on the Education Forum today. Until next time, bye-bye. Hello, welcome to the Education Forum, your TV show that explores the academic sector or the education sector to tap into opportunities for social and economic development. So yes, the government has urged schools, universities and tertiary institutions to take on developmental academic projects and innovations in line with the National Development Plan agenda. And that is why today we are here at St. Joseph's Girls Senior Secondary School in Nsambya to find out how they are adhering to some of these national development plans. Well, my name is Amuge Victoria and this is the Education Forum. Stay tuned. St. Joseph's Girls Secondary School is a school that doesn't even need an introduction because it's one of the top schools in Uganda that has a legacy of academic excellence, discipline and modeling of the girl child. Now joining me on the show right now is the headmistress. You are very welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you. Sister Agatha Mary Mugwanya, Little Sisters of St. Francis of Nkokonjeru.
Okay. Well, as we started conversing before we started this interview, I realized I was sitting with a legend. So, I'm very privileged. So, tell us more about St. Joseph's Girls School, when it started, how it started.
St. Joseph's Girls Senior Secondary School in Zambia started way back in 1967 with very few numbers of girls because the parents around in Zambia had requested the sisters by then to start this school. Why? Because the primary school near us was training girls, young girls from P1 to P7, and after their completion they had no other places to join. By then you had schools like Namagunga, St. Mary's, then there were Trinity College in Nabingo, then there was Gayaza and so on, but they could not take girls who did not perform very well by that time. Okay. So the parents of that school requested that they begin a senior secondary school, and that's when it came into existence in 1967.
Hey, interesting. Well, the fact that it started in 1967, that means it has stood a test of time.
Yes.
So how have you managed to be on the top for all this time?
With the time, we used not to take students who had performed very well, but with the time, as time went on, we started admitting girls who could do well, very well, especially those from far away from here, from Zambia, from the north, from the south, the east, and the west. And because of the way the sisters have been managing this school, they started performing very well. And at this time, it is one of the best schools in the country. And we are dealing only with the girl child. Why? Because our mother foundress, Mother Kevin, not tell you that, who founded us as the Little Sisters of St. Francis, was very much interested in the girl child. By the time we started some of the schools, like St. Agnes Nagalama, like St. Teresa Primary School, Namagunga, the girl child was left behind, could not be taken to school. Why? They thought the girl was to stay only in the kitchen. At home, they didn't think that the girl had also potential to perform as boys. But by now, I think they are doing very well.
Okay, it's evident enough that the students here are very smart and respectful and cooperative. I have seen that as I was moving around the school. So what kind of moral values do you instill in these students, and what approach do you use exactly?
Being that this is a Catholic founded school, these girls, whichever faith you come with, we instill in them to be God-fearing. And you find that they like it so much. The way we do it is that they are prayerful. We have time for prayers. And as we pray, I think when you are God-fearing, you get into those values of being respectful to yourself, to each other, to the staff. And I think that has played a big role in modeling them.
Okay, that's good. Well, the government has always urged schools to take on science, technology, and of course engineering, mathematics. So how is sciences handled here exactly?
Sciences here, on the other hand, we encourage very much that they have hands-on. Even before this new lower secondary curriculum started, this school had gone a step ahead in that we used to do some activities that helped them to have hands-on. And the UNBS, they used to come, we used to go there to their center in Nakawa and be tested. Actually, it helped many of them. Even the time they used to leave this place, they would go and begin their own business. But with this new curriculum, we have changed a bit. But all the same, we are still doing the same. Okay. So they don't find the science is very difficult. We have the laboratories. And now and again, they are there to do whatever they would like to do.
Okay, well, there is a saying that goes that educating a girl child is educating the nation. Yes. How does this saying go exactly for you? How does it apply for the girls here?
The girls here. Mm-hmm. Yes, because now those who, where these girls go, I think if they go to marriage life, or some of them who have joined us, because we have girls who have passed through our hands, who are sisters or nuns like we are, you see that they are different. They are different. The one who has been taking you around, she was an old girl here. And I think that's why she's able to do whatever she's doing now, Josephine.
Okay, well, speaking about the old girls here, it's amazing and interesting because I've interacted with several teachers and I realized they're all, most of them were former students of St. Joseph's Girls. So why exactly do they come back and teach here?
I think they would have said it themselves, but what I've found out that maybe they want to pass on whatever they received from here. That's why they are interested to come back and be part of the group, to groom others, to educate others, so that they get also the same values during their lifetime, wherever they will be.
Okay. Well, last but not least, having good teachers that are qualified, that guarantees you good results. So what is the state of your staff here?
The state of my staff,
Yeah.
I think with the time now, I think after the COVID, now many ladies, because at first we had more male teachers than female. I mean, they have found out, I mean, that when they are teaching like the girls only, it is interesting, because sometimes you see the girls, sometimes they feel not very comfortable. They thought that they are not able, but when you encourage them, girls really can be very intelligent, because they have the intelligence also, as well as the boys are.
So having heard from teacher Mary, who is the headmistress, we get to realize that St. Joseph's Girls Secondary School was open to give a door for some of the girls to get an opportunity to learn and go to some of the best schools, get the knowledge that they feel will help them one day in the future. And it's full of history. And of course, now the moral values, we talked about the projects and so much more. She has had a lot to say, but we are not just going to end there. Let's go and see some of these projects, meet some of the teachers, meet some of the students, and see how far they have gone. Stay tuned. We are bringing you so much more. All right, with me is teacher Chiramo Masi, and she is a chemistry teacher. Welcome, teacher Masi.
Thank you.
Well, help us and tell us what exactly happens in the chemistry lab.
Yes, so this is the St. Joseph's Girls SS Chemistry Lab. In this lab, it is well equipped with almost all the apparatus for experiments to be carried out for both O-level and A-level students. Now, in the chemistry lab, we carry out chemistry practicals. For example, in this new lower curriculum, more of practical is considered compared to theory. So we usually bring our students weekly to the laboratory to carry out the practicals. So, for example, today I brought my students to teach them about acids and alkalis, and we are doing this in our chemistry lab. They are testing for acidity and alkalinity, and they are using the litmus paper. So we know we have two blue litmus paper and the red litmus paper. The blue litmus paper will test for the acidity, and the red will test for the basicity. The blue, when it turns to red, that means the solution is acidic, and then the red litmus paper turns to blue, that means the solution they'll be testing is basic.
Right, so from the lower secondary school chemistry lab, we are here at the A-level chemistry lab, and joining me is the head of department chemistry, Chiyinji Godfrey. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, we have moved around the laboratory and we've seen some interesting chemical reaction and changes. What exactly is happening here, and what happens in the laboratory?
Well, we are doing what we call acid-base titration. Acid-base titration, and this involves using indicators, and in this case we are using methyl orange indicator. You have seen when you add it, it's red. They have added it in an acid, it's red.
Okay.
Now, when they are titrating, they are titrating an acid with a base. So when they add an indicator in the an acid, it's red. Then when they titrate it with a base, that is, they are using sodium hydroxide. When it reaches an end point, it changes from red to yellow, indicating that the reaction has stopped. Yes. And at that point, the end point, when they reach the end point, they read the burette. They take a burette reading, and that is the volume of the base that has reacted with the acid in a conical flask. Basically, that is it. After, from there, they will get the titer values. They will put them in the table, and then they get the average of those titer values. When they get the average value will be the volume of the base that has reacted in this process.
Okay, well, doing these chemical reactions, of course, it's not easy. You know, there's some students that get lost and you're trying to get those colors and it's like something is wrong. So what methods do you use to make sure that the students all understand what they're doing and at the end of the day come out of the lab satisfied that I also managed to come up with the results needed?
Okay. Of course, we first go through the theory, the methods, we take them through the methods, through the steps. By the time we come here, they know what to do.
Okay, so how often do you do the chemistry practicals?
Yes, we usually have 2 doubles in a week. Every week we have to have 2 doubles. Yes.
Are there like private lessons that the students have? Like there are those that would like to, you know, keep doing these practicals on their own, minus the classes that you have. They want to come and do practicals on their own.
Yes.
Are there those chances of doing that?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, if they are free, in their free times, they can come and try out by themselves.
Okay.
When they need a teacher, they can call up a teacher and he gives a hand.
Okay, the fact that we are putting on these coats, I'm sure there are other protective gear that students are supposed to put on when they are in the lab. So how do you help prevent those accidents? What else is necessary in the lab before you start doing such dangerous practicals?
Yes, we probably bring them in here. We first they have to go through the laboratory rules and regulations, even the safety precautions. They must be aware of them, so that in case they are dealing with any element, they must know what to put on.
First and foremost, I'd like to ask you, what methods do you use when teaching the girls in class?
Well, I have been teaching a senior 4 class, so basically we're actually preparing for mock exams. So we are basically doing a lot of revision. Okay, we are using question and answer. Okay, so we do a subject content. We get a concept, we appreciate it, then we kind of do a series of questions in the various years as we prepare for our final exams. Yeah.
But science is a subject that many people believe that girls don't really get, or it's not a girl thing. But the way you teach it as a teacher, and then you're teaching it to girls also, how do you make sure that they embrace this?
Well, I have an advantage that I'm a woman. So when I stand before the girls, they actually believe that they can do the sciences anyway. If she's standing before us, then definitely she'll have to. I mean, we'll also make it, okay? So there's a lot of working on the attitude. The way you present the content as something as simple as anything that they can do. Yeah, I think it's simplifying the content as you're giving it to them. You prepare enough, you take them to the lab, you know, once they interact with the materials, then it becomes very easy to deliver the subject content.
Exactly. With your kind of energy, why wouldn't I love physics too and love science?
Thank you.
I mean, like, apart from teaching them in class, the way you are doing the revision and all that, some of them don't get to understand everything in class.
Yeah.
Are there any other methods that you use to make sure that they grasp everything you're giving in class?
Oh yes, definitely. We have discussions, you know, where we sample a few kids, you know, a few of them they engage in personal discussion where you really observe as they're having their discussions. We have videos, we go to our table, come to our desk, we sit down, we discuss. I mean, you get the students out of the general group and then you engage with one-on-one, okay? Yeah, but most especially is being there, such that when you seated somewhere with them, they can ask you what they didn't understand. Yeah. I think the discussions also help a lot.
Is there any way you give the students career guidance as to the different subjects they're doing?
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah. I have aviation officers in that class. I have people who want to be pilots, you know. So you have to keep reminding them, you know, when someone speaks that, you know what, you say you want to be a doctor, you want to be an engineer, so let's do this, you know. Yeah.
The new curriculum came with a lot of changes for improvement, and one of those changes is in ICT and computer studies. You may be asking what the difference between the both is. Well, Kayebe Joram is going to tell us more about that. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Victoria. Now, with the new shift to the new lower secondary curriculum, instead of referring to the subject as computer studies, there was a shift to ICT. Now, it's just a naming standard. There is nothing much to why it's called ICT, but the NCDC felt that since the community around us is more relating to ICT. That's why we have our subject as ICT. The content slightly changed to meet the current standards, such that we produce a learner that is 100% fit to work in the 21st century.
Okay. How important would you say that computer literacy is to the students?
Computer literacy, we don't actually in our school just look at it as a subject. We look at it as a tool to enhance understanding of other concepts in other subjects. We're all aware of the impact of ICT, not just in the education sector, but even in other sectors. So we emphasize this point or this skill right from senior one. Our learners make use of ICT to help better understand other concepts. Just like how back in the days we used to be told about the digestive system and there's so many systems in our bodies. All we had was to believe by faith or with faith that these systems really do exist. But right now with the advancement in technology, a learner is in position to go inside the digestive system. They're in position to interact with various complex body systems, which back then, before these advancements, wouldn't be possible. So by doing that, the learner is in position to relate with what they are studying. Because if something is audiovisual, you have a 95% chance of retaining information about this particular concept.
Okay, well, you have spoken about technology and the world is changing. Everything is going digital, and that means the computers, the phones are very important. How are you ensuring that the students embrace this, and what kind of websites are you using in terms of your teaching?
Yes, in terms of our teaching, you know, where there is advancements in technology, there is also an aspect of security and safety of our learners. As a school, we've invested in a filtering program and hardware. This helps us to safeguard our learners such that we only have access to sites that we have allowed them to have access to. Filtration is done at hardware level, such that even by the time traffic gets to us, we've already sorted out the kind of websites that our learners can gain access to.
Okay, discussions coming your way. We still have more teachers to interact with. Do not go anywhere. Stay tuned. There is more to learn about St. Joseph Girls Secondary School. Well, as I was talking to the headmistress, that is Sister Agatha Mary Mugwanya, she mentioned a few teachers that have come back, that were once students here at St. Joseph's Girls Secondary School and now are back to teach. And one of them is teacher Josephine. You are very welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell us, there are so many other schools you would pick on to go and teach, but you chose your school, your previous school. Why?
First and foremost, I wasn't a confident person. Generally, I was not a confident person, but I learned it from St. Joseph's Girls Senior Secondary School in Samia. Most cases, in some schools, I was a little bit shy. I didn't have the confidence to put out myself, to talk actually in primary, but when I came to St. Joseph's Girls, they would actually encourage that. They would put in confidence, and the best thing that they actually put in us is prayer. This school is so prayerful, and they would actually, there are various types of prayers. We have had it's a Catholic school. We have Mass, we have Rosary every evening. It has never stopped. I'm saying we have because I actually join them every single time.
You still do it?
I still do it. Okay. And because of that, they would tell us that when prayer becomes a habit, excellence is automatic. I would actually use that everywhere I go, given the fact that even our motto is Duking Alto, which means aim higher. So they would always push you to being the better self of your own perception. Yes.
Okay. Well, what did you do when you studied here?
When I was here, given the fact that we were on the lower secondary old curriculum, the school system was the same, but then there was a sister called Sister Regina.
she encouraged me to be the liturgy prefect. So I would lead the religious part of the school in O level, and that helped me to even build my Catholic being more and more, because it would bring out the prayers, the novenas, the rosaries, the mass. So it actually brought out the better self of my perception.
Okay. Okay, so exploring of the school still continues. As you can see behind, we have a lot of projects taking place, and this is the practical part of the entrepreneurship subject. They get to learn theory in class and then get to have the practicals here. Now there are a lot of projects taking place here, making of mandazi, sumbusas, and so much more, sanitary towels made out of backcloth, and you can see the students very busy. So let's go and talk to some of them and see some of the technology taking place here and how they do exactly what they do.
My name is Nyakecho Melissa in Senior 3 North, and as a group we came up with a project to solve the problem of scarcity of good water for drinking. So in our community we realized that after a dry spell, when rain comes, the water collected from this rain is usually dirty and impure for intake by people. Because here in the problem statement we can see that when we collect water from gutters and from rivers, this water is contaminated and not pure and safe for drinking. So then this project that we have set up, it purifies the water through a process called filtration. As the water comes from the first layer, in the first setup, there is coarse sand and fine sand that filters any dirt particles in the water. And as it goes to the second stage, it takes longer here so that the oxygen supply is cut off so that the microorganisms that cause disease are killed. And then as it comes here in the third part, there is charcoal that contains carbon, an element that has the ability to absorb any bad taste, smell or odor from the water, making our filtrate pure and clean, safe for drinking and any other domestic use.
I'm Katrina, and I'm from St. Joseph's Girls SS in Zambia. Our project is mathematical formulation of a balanced food for children. We mainly came up with this project because as we are doing charity work, we saw mainly malnourished people, malnourished children, and yet most of them are still young and still are breastfeeding. So our project solves the problem of malnutrition, overnutrition, and food loss and wastage among the children in our neighborhood. And in our project we use the common foods that we find that most people grow in their gardens, such as the matoke and cassava, and then we use mathematics to balance it to create a nutritious food for children. So we find there are different nutrients in each type of food, and we use mathematics to balance them.
My name is Naroga Fiona Jovia, and I'm going to take you through the mathematics part. So here we got samples of the foods that we used, and then the ones that have a big percentage of protein, we balanced all of them and we got them. So here we give parts where we use proportions. The one with a big protein percentage, you give it a bigger part of the percentage, and then the one with small protein percentage, you give it a smaller part in order to balance the nutrients. So we do the same for the energy giving foods. Then here we use the constant of the Pearson square, whereby we get a constant which is 16 for the young kids to get the protein level. So here when we worked out, here we got the weighted mean, and we used it here on the Pearson square. Here the energy giving food, we subtracted it from this constant, and then we got the ratio of the protein food we need, and then we did the same for the protein food to get the ratio of the energy food. Then here we use the concept of fractions and percentages. Here the parts we gave it 1 out of 4 as we saw here, and then we did the same for all the other foods that we used in order to get the percentages we need for our final product.
My name is Amanya Noreen, and
in front of you, I have the nutritional drink. So we use this kind of foods. We use matoke, we use sweet potatoes, cassava, and some maize and peanuts. So for the matoke and the cassava and the sweet potatoes, we use a solar dryer to dry them so that we can take them to the grinding machine and they make them into powder. Then also the seeds, the maize and the peanuts, we also took them to the milling machine and then they also made them into powder. And then we mix them all together in their different kinds of proportions to make the final product.
My name is Ajulut Vincentia. I'm a senior 5 student doing BCM at St. Joseph Girls SS Zambia. And the project here, we've been making powdered detergent using the different chemicals, acids and alkalis that are neutralized to form a detergent. So detergent is basically to help in the washing and also to brighten clothes. And as a student, it helps me put my chemistry into practice and also help to solve some society problems and challenges such as high costs of detergents. Since my product is of low costs, it's going to help to cut on the costs of detergent, and then it's going to help with the unemployed youths to put their, especially those who did chemistry, to put their chemistry into practice and earn a living.
My name is Katasi Dilani. I'm in Form 6 Sciences. I do PEM/ICT here at St. Joseph's Girls SS in Zambia. My project is to show you how we can improve backcloth and how the production of goods, including the use of backcloth, is carried out using physics. Because there are various applications of physics in this case, such as machines, friction, application of shear force, and so on. So what happens is that at the beginning, when we're harvesting the backcloth, we make an incision along the back of the mutuba tree. Then we use a sharp-pointed wedge, that is a banana stalk, which is shaped in form of a wedge, to harvest the back. When we remove the back, we place it on a flat surface, and we use something called a mallet, which has grooves on it. We use it to pound the backcloth so that it enables it to spread out. But since it has grooves and the backcloth is also rough, there's friction between these two surfaces. And this friction brings about the application of the shear force, which enables the bundles, that is the fibers of the backcloth, are held together in form of bundles. So this shear force enables them to spread out over each other, therefore making it extend and become wider and spread a lot. And then that is when it is used in production of various goods, such as sanitary towels, because it is a good absorber due to the strong force of attraction between its molecules. Then also curtains and many others. And it's also good for conservation of life, because when the bark is harvested from the tree, we use banana leaves to tie around that part where the bark has been removed. Therefore, these banana leaves protect that part of the stem which has been exposed and enable that bark to grow back over time. Hence, there is no deforestation in this. It's very environmentally friendly.
Another area of study is nutrition and food technology, which is included in the new curriculum. And that is what brings us into the food and nutrition lab. Now, this is where all the magic takes place. When we speak about cooking and we speak about kitchens, we know what exactly takes place there. The cooking, preparing of different kinds of foods. And Noeline is going to join me into the show and explain to us more of what happens here. Welcome, Noeline.
Thank you.
So take us through what happened here. What are you doing exactly? What is the practical all about today?
My name is Intore Noeline. I'm in Senior 6 Sciences, and I do biology, chemistry, food and nutrition, strokes up math. So right now, you found us in a food and nutrition lesson, and our main practical today, we are making fish dishes, chicken dishes, and some soups. But by the time you guys came, we are not just dealing with the soups. Right now, we had so far done part of the fish dishes. For example, we had done poached fish, deep fried fish, we had baked some fish, then we had deep fried some chicken, and we are still going on with the practical.
How has your experience been like doing this practical? How has it changed you as a person?
I've learned different methods of cooking and the different nutritive values one can get, way of conserving, like the way of not changing the nutritive value of food. For example, using little oil, that's not going to affect people. Getting to know the different types of food I'm going to cook for the different people. For example, the invalid, the young, the adult, the different people in our society.
Okay, so when doing this practical as a person, does it just end here or do you do it outside? Do you do it at home?
Yeah, we do it at home.
Okay.
For example, I was here from O level from Form 1. So in my Form 1, I also did food and nutrition, but I learned how to cook and how to bake. So at home, my dad and my uncles, they opened for me like a small bakery. So I do some baking in case we have family outings like parties. My uncle always calls me and he's like, Noela, we need a cake. So
You're in charge of that?
Yes, exactly. I'm always in charge of that cake.
Money.
Yes.
That is very nice.
And I all learned this from here.
Interesting. There is no school or classes without the students. So how about we talk to some of the students, have a chat and find out some of their experiences in class, what they study, what class they're in, and so much more. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us what your name is, what class you're in.
My name is Naluoga Maria Magdalene. I'm in Form 6. I'm doing biology, chemistry, and math. And I'm the former head girl, 2020 to 2023.
Amazing. That exactly explains how smart you are. I mean, you're doing sciences as a girl, and then you're a former head girl. So tell us, what has your experience been?
I've been here since 2017, since my Form 1, and to say that my experience in school has been good, just good would be an understatement, because it has been, I would call it a transformative journey. I've learned a lot, I've been exposed to a lot, I've had experiences with the students given the office I just handed over, interactions with the teachers, different staff members, representing the school in various activities. So I would say being in Joginsa is a blessing.
Okay.
It's a blessing, and every day is a brick added in different aspects.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, given the fact that you have had this experience and then you are the former head girl, in your office, how did you help make changes in the school, help the students academically, physically, mentally?
Well, first of all, handling students is not easy. Like during that year, during that time, handling students, you find out that actually what the people in that staff room go through is not easy, because you're going to deal with students who may not be doing well academically, students who may not be adjusting properly to the environment, and within that term of office there is receiving new students.
Yeah.
So the interactions you have with students make you realize how best you could have been helped in what maybe if you pass through the same thing, and how best, since you have also had the experience, you know how best to help them. So I would say keeping my communication stable with students helped me to realize that maybe there could be something lacking academically, so we kept communication constant with the academic office. We could realize that mentally students were not, maybe a particular student was not doing well, so you would talk to them as a friend, as a leader, as a mentor, tell them what you've passed through, tell them how best to handle it. So within the long run, you even end up making friends, so it helps you interact socially, freely with them. So it makes the run smooth.
Well, it's interesting to keep interacting with the students, and leadership is something that requires teamwork and, of course, giving some other people the opportunity to see what they can bring to the table. Now, joining me on the show right now is the current head girl. We have talked to the previous head girl, and now here is the current head girl. You are welcome.
Thank you. I'm Nabionga Rebecca. I'm in senior 5 doing biology, chemistry, math. As she has said, I'm the head girl of this mighty institution.
Well, it seems like all the head girls are scientists, and that is interesting. Why did you choose to take this combination?
I chose this combination because, according to my passion, what I would like to be in future, I want to be a future doctor, and that requires me to do this combination.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why a doctor? There are so many other courses you'd go for, so many different career paths you take. Why did you choose to be a doctor?
Well, in life, I would like to save lives. I usually see people in these government hospitals suffering with the shortage of doctors. Some don't have anyone to work upon them. Some have very severe illnesses. Previously, I was in the cancer wards of Mulago, and people there were really suffering. So I'd like to take the initiative to come out as the person who is to save these people's lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, you were just handed over power.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
What is your experience like so far as the new head girl?
So far the experience is too smooth. So far people are cooperative. My cabinet members are all cooperative in each and every activity, and we hope to see better as we move on with the year 2023-2024.
Well, as a leader, you have responsibilities, and when you were asking your friends to vote for you and put you into this position, there are promises you made, different developments that you plan on bringing. So what is your goal? What is going to be your method to make sure that you bring a difference to your fellow students in school, academically, mentally, physically, because all this work together?
Well, when I look into my manifesto, I really made many promises. And to work upon those promises, I should make sure that I stick to my word. If I say I want order in the school, if I want effectiveness in the school, stick to my word, cooperate with the other cabinet members, create effective communication between the staff room and the students' body all at large.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, your experience in St. Joseph's Girls SS, how has it been so far?
My experience, that's since 2018 up to now, it has really been a great experience, at times with some places which are not so smooth as such, but still what I can say that is Joginsa became part of me. Joginsa is really me. If I look at the way I am today, I feel I'm the lady of integrity. I feel I'm the lady of tomorrow. I feel that even the God-fearing that I have within me is from this school.
Yes, so our chat with the students still continues, and joining me is Mugisha Kevin. She appears to be the Minister of Education, or Education Minister as it is called here in St. Joseph. Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, what is it like being the Education Minister? I mean, we're speaking about politics now. You are a minister already.
I mean, Joginsa, we usually call it Joginsa in short. It's one big academic giant nationwide. So number one, I must say, being the student forerunner among the equal, as the education minister, it's a very big privilege to me as a student. Yeah. Number two, as a student, and you're supposed to uplift the school's name and hoist it up there where it's been all this time. You're supposed to make sure that as the education minister, you are supposed to lead as example. When it comes to Joginsa, there are very many co-curricular activities that really shape us into ladies of integrity, the ones you see out there. But it's focused on academic at a bigger percentage. It's very serious when it comes to academic. You are supposed to know as a leader, I'm supposed to lead as example. Where need be, I'm supposed to mentor these girls. They come from different backgrounds and they need somebody to be by their side to tell them, you know what, take this route, you will fail here and there, but you'll still rise up again. It's not an easy journey. It's not an easy journey, but you're supposed to be there for the students. Yes.
What is the most important role of yours as the education minister?
Well, as the education minister in Joginsa, basically what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to act as the bridge between the academic authorities and the students themselves. Because you see, most of the students, it's not easy for them to come out and approach the people that side. So you're supposed to air out their issues, you're supposed to mentor them, you are supposed to, sometimes you're supposed to even be there and try to lead discussions in different classes just to bring about that sense of organization so that everything is put into practice.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it is clear that as an education minister, there is a lot you have to your table, especially when it comes to the academics.
True.
So what methods do you use, what methods do you follow to make sure that your fellow students are performing well in class, that they are getting all that they need in order to be better in class? And
me as a person, based on what I've gone through in Joginsa for all these years, I do believe a student, number one, to be academically sound is supposed to come from within. The number one thing I always ensure is to coordinate with the health ministry of the school, be it the student forerunner for the health ministry, be it our school nurses. I make sure I coordinate such that these students are very comfortable when it comes to their health. Other than that, usually what I do, I like carrying out internal, can I call it like internal data collection?
Okay.
I hope
or like research?
Exactly. Okay. And I approach these students in groups and I'm like, so tell me, what do you think should be done? What do you think is not becoming? What do you think should be improved here or there? And usually one thing I've noticed is that when you carry out this data collection or when you research, you actually know exactly what you're expected of, because you cannot think of on behalf of all these students. I mean, they come from different backgrounds, they perceive knowledge differently, and yes, I hope you get what I'm trying to imply.
Yes, I get it.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Kevin.
You're welcome.
But it's clear you know your role very well and you are very smart.
Oh, wow.
When I grow up, I want to be like you.
Oh, wow. I'm honored. Thank you.
Alright, so we still have more conversations coming your way. Kevin is the education minister, and yes, her role is a very big one. I actually didn't know that this kind of role is there in school. But yes, let's interact with more students and see what they have to offer, what they can bring to the table. Alright, so joining me is an O-level student. Phoebe, welcome Phoebe.
Thank you very much.
Well, tell us more about Phoebe. Who is Phoebe?
Phoebe, actually I go by Asea Phoebe. I am in senior 2 at St. Joseph's Girls SS in Zambia, and yeah, I'm just a proud student in the school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is this new lower secondary school curriculum. How have you found it?
At first, when you reach senior 1, it's a confusing curriculum. You know, we came from the old curriculum in the P7, but when you adjust, we know you have very adaptable teachers, and as you go by it, you kind of get used. It becomes something normal and something that you experience in your daily life.
Okay.
Yeah.
How has this new curriculum changed you as a person?
Well, I think the way I feel, this new curriculum has imparted a lot of practicality in me, because in our old schools in P7 we always used to do the theory, but now that exams. But now that we are in the new curriculum, there is a lot of projects and everything you do is practical, even down to the mathematics and everything has to be practical, and you get to experience everything for yourself.
Yeah, well, coming to these projects that you're talking about, what project have you taken on like seriously that you would like to do as a person? Because the aim of this is for you to be job creators, create something for yourself. What have you picked from this that you would like to do?
So 2 of my favorite projects that I have actually completed now, I do literature. So one of my favorite projects that I did at the end of last year was to create a magazine. And I want to be a journalist and be out there with people, and this has really helped me, because in my magazine I had to interview the teachers, and interviews were set up for me, and I got to interact with very many people. I feel like it boosted my self-esteem and my confidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. With that, is there any other change you'd like to make in anything in your field?
I think as I go
what they're looking for is your insight, how smart you are, what you can bring to the table, and what. So the fact that you're taking that journey, is there anything you'd like to change and bring as you, so that they know that Phoebe made this?
Yes, there is. As in that field of work, I feel like everything is so old school right now, and with this developing generation, everyone likes their things to be so adaptable and accessible. Like food has to be accessible, Jumia, education. So I feel like as journalists, they also have to be very accessible, like news apps and things like BuzzFeed and Clever News, something very accessible, and information is right at your doorstep.
The Director of Studies is responsible for ensuring that students in their school get quality education. And joining me on the show is the Director of Studies, St. Joseph's Girls SS, Mr. Okello Abuola. Robert, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
What exactly is your role as the Director of Studies here?
It is simple. 2021, we came up with a very strong strategy, which is a very strong document which is guiding us in management of every areas of life. But now when we talk of academics, definitely as the Director of Studies, I have to ensure that all the processes required to deliver academically, it is in place, it is enacted, it is managed, And that is mainly what we have to do so that the intended result is delivered.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, take us through your lower and upper secondary school methods of teaching. How do you engage the students academically and make sure that they are put in the right path?
Of course, when you look at the old curriculum, which is now mainly the senior 4, 5, and 6 who are still undergoing that curriculum, definitely the teaching is kind of now also shifting, because we are now involving students more in their academic work. They look for example, if you are organizing discussions, they have to look for the materials. They have to get all whatever they are supposed to discuss by themselves, though it is teacher guided. Whereas in the lower secondary, where is now we term it child centered, the students are actually managing their academics, being guided by the students. That's why when you go in such a class, you find there are always clusters. They are put in a cluster to generate knowledge. Of course, sometimes we give them prior research questions. They go to the library or they go to computer lab, and we also have a robust set computer lab which can accommodate almost around 400 students at a go. So they can always do their research without any problem.
Okay. Well, the new lower secondary school curriculum has come with a lot of innovations and room for schools to come up with different innovations.
Yes.
Now, as a school at St. Joseph, what kind of innovations have you come up with, and why those particular innovations in line with this new curriculum?
Yeah, one, we have actually tried to make sure that so many enabling structure has been put in place. For example, when you go to the computer lab, you find that now we have 2 big computer labs, including the projector room, to manage the integration of ICT into the learning process. The library, we have expanded it, and we also soon going to put computers into the library, so that we go e-library. That is still integrating ICT into the teaching process. When you go to entrepreneurship, we have put up now 1 big kiln for all baking work and all that kind of thing, including the fine art, including the NFT, that is Nutrition and Food Technology Lab, has fully been set to manage that kind of. So those are some of the innovations, but we are still continuing. As you know, the thing has just come
begun.
in place. Yes.
Okay. All right. So besides that, the academics comes with research, and each time that we get to study, the research keeps coming up, and the different technology, different innovations coming up that involve a lot of knowledge. How are you embracing research, helping the students research, because we also have plagiarism and different things going on?
Yeah, with research, the best we have done and we are doing is, one, to buy all the lower secondary school curriculum related textbooks, and they are stocked there in the library. We are also buying other books which are related to, because when they are sent to go and read books from the library, definitely you need so many other books as opposed to what the student handbook is. So we add more materials. In addition, as I've already said, we have set a robust internet system to manage the research work, and the computer lab has at least more than 380 computers per now. So we can manage that, including, like for the teachers, we have the resource room, which is fully stocked with also computer.
Okay. Now, different schools have come up with this practice of grouping students in 2 groups depending on their academic abilities.
Yes.
Is that a practice that is done here? And if so, why? Why is this necessary?
No. We have never done such, and we don't need to do it, because in a community, we believe that we all have strength. Even somebody you think is weak has a very strong aspect where can help others. For example, somebody may be very bright academically, but may not be a team mobilizer. So if you are to leave them like that, they will actually not grow the holistic person we expected for society. So for us, we randomly set to students in classrooms so that they are able to benefit from each other at all time and all level.
Okay, well, your position as a director of studies comes with a lot of responsibility, especially that the side of the academic performance of the students. So what advantage does your position as the director of studies have as you?
The advantage maybe is growth. Maybe is a growth, self-growth, and giving you opportunity actually to serve the community as much as my strength can allow. It give me that position to serve my community as much as actually I can.
Well, the different students you're working with from different backgrounds, different statuses, different ways of thinking, different problems. Now, to have such an important position as yours, that means you have to have different kinds of attributes. So, being a director of studies, what attributes should someone like you have?
Of course, one, you must be very receptive, because you are going to deal with so many people. And secondly, you must actually be a counselor. You must be a counselor, because people come with so many diverse challenges here and there, so you must be a counselor. You must be exemplary, because many people are looking at you to provide certain maybe approach to life or characteristics of the system. And of course, you must also be somebody who easily delegates work, because you have to work with others. So you have to distribute work so that the work of the community can run, or of the school can run as it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So you must be able to delegate, and you must be able to have that empathy also for others, because we normally have a lot of challenges as the workforce, for example. And to the students, you must be so caring. You must be so caring. And you know, we are dealing with the girl child. They need actually a lot more help or attention than would be expected.
Well, thank you very much, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, as you have seen our conversation with Robert, you get to realize that the Director of Studies has a very big role to play in a school, and especially when it comes to performance and academics of a student. But it doesn't only end there. You get to help the students career-wise, of course with career guidance, and of course we get to also help them psychologically, mentally, because students are affected in different ways that could probably, you know, disturb their brains when working. Well, there is nothing much to say about St. Joseph's Girls Senior Secondary School, because a lot has been said during the discussions we had. And it's an amazing school, one of the top schools in Uganda with academic excellence, discipline, and of course modeling of the girl child. We have interacted with the students, with the teachers, and you have seen how smart they are and how they take on these projects. And of course, the new lower secondary school curriculum seriously. Well, that is all we had on the Education Forum today. All good things come to an end. Until next time, bye-bye. The celebrations and happiness all over the place. Well, stay tuned. There is so much coming your way. We have interacted with students from different faculties, including engineering, medicine, education, but now is natural resources and environment science. Well, Busitama is all about the sciences. Welcome to the show.
Now, students are very funny beings.
Yes.
You know, when it comes to such activities, sometimes it blows off their minds and they forget that they are supposed to read books and concentrate in books. Like, for example, on the eve of such events, they're excited. They don't even want to touch a book because they're thinking, oh,
in your presentation, you talked about something about countries getting involved in space science and having their own space science programs. Why do you think they all need space science program?
So there has been an outbreak of Ebola, and that means we have to be conscious about the people we engage with, what we do, and some of the signs and symptoms. And that brings us to the next section, which is the disease prevention. And these nurses are going to talk to us more about Ebola. Well, my name is Amuge Victoria. That is all we had on the Education Forum today. Until next time, bye-bye.